Hello there, it's Maggie, the Cheshire Crafter here. I've been to the local charity shop again, and I think they're starting to twig now because we've got a new manager in one of the shops, and it's the one that I take my handmade cards to. And she started to twig that I'm picking up 100% cotton shirts, and she's realised now that I take them apart. In some shops, people have said to me, "Oh, your husband's going to love you when you're going to get home with this." And I went, "Yeah, I haven't got a husband. I'm going to pick him apart. Sorry." However, she did say to me this week, "What are you going to do with them? And what are they going to inspire you? Or what are they going to become in the future?" And I just want to go through a little bit with you of what I see when I look at these shirts in the shops, why I buy these ones and leave others behind. And then let's look a little bit of what journey these shirts have been on already. Where have they come from? What countries did they derive from? Maybe who's worn them even? And what are they going to become? So let's take a look at things I've bought this week in my local charity shops. I'm very fortunate. I've got 3 on my high street. So let's see. So the first then is this man's gingham shirt. If we look at the label, we'll see it's a John Lewis, and I paid £6.99 for it. And you see it's an XXL, which is an extra large. When I touch it, it's a great twill. It's a real nice, almost brushed cotton feel to it. There's a pocket on the front. There are quite wide cuffs, and then on the back of it, there is unfortunately the collar, the nape area has been cut in two. There is a placket down the front, but as you'll notice, there are no darts. So that is one wide piece of material across the back. It hasn't been shaped either. And there's a great deal of fabric in the sleeves there. Now, when I bought that, I know that this weight of gingham will go very well with denim. And I do want to mix some denim into patchwork quilts. But the other thing that this reminded me of, and it might be because I saw this going across in the diagonal, and that was, I looked at that shirt and said, I see coronation bunting for next year. We're going to have a coronation when King Charles III has the coronation next May or June. We have got a date already for it. So that gave me that really bright idea. So it might turn into coronation bunting. Let's wait and see. This next shirt is actually a blue chambray, almost a denim cotton colour, and it has a contrast collar and cuff. Now, I know I've already got fabric like that, which means that this fabric is going to unite with fabric like that very well. There were many shirts that I left behind that had this sort of blue and white stripe. I don't need any more. But I don't think I had one like this with a check in it. It is quite thin. It is quite lightweight. Let's turn it over and see what it's like on the back. Yeah, they didn't line up that collar very well there, did it? But there aren't any. There are no darts in the back, and again, that's a good piece of fabric that I can use, and I'm definitely going to be mixing that in with denim and the blue and white striped pale blue fabric that I already have. Now this shirt is interesting. I'm not quite sure what colour that looks like. We might get a greater colour if you can see the light shining on it here. It's more of a rust colour, like a burnt orange rust, and it was actually next to this colour of shirt that looks a bit more emerald green on camera. It's not, it's more of a spring green, I would say. The two together reminded me of autumn colours, and that's why I bought the two together. Now, looking at fabrics together, when you do buy men's shirts, let the designers give you an indication of what will go with it. You can see here the designer has put in a complementary colour, orange and blue, opposite sides of the colour wheel, go very well together. This is a tiny white stripe, isn't it? And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my nails down. I'm sorry about the sound on this one, but I think you'll hear what I'm saying about this. It's almost got a coating on it, as if it's windproofed somehow. Now this was made in China, and I'm not quite sure whether they've put some form of processing through it. As you can see on the sides, it actually makes it quite stiff. Can you see how it's held the shape? It's quite stiff. What this is like for a man to wear, I've got no idea. Or maybe it helps keep them just a little bit warmer in the autumn. But again, on the back, there is no dart in the back, so there's a great deal of fabric there for me. This one. Now this is a very soft cotton, and it's on a sage green, and it's got all sorts of colours in it. It was made Zara Man. It's a slim fit, but there is quite a bit of fabric in the back. If you look at the placket opening over the front, there's an extra 2 inches of fabric there, just once I unpick that line. And it was the colours in this one that fascinated me. It reminded me there of autumn leaves, of reflections. It reminded me almost of Japanese cherry blossom, and it's lightweight. Look at how lovely that is. If we turn it on the back, we can also see almost a watercolour effect, and I really liked that. Now you can see how vibrant and bright the colours are in places. So any man that could get away with wearing a shirt like that, well done. But I'm very glad that they donated it to a charity shop though. I find it interesting to see where these cottons have come from. This shirt was made in Spain. These 2 shirts at the top were made in India, but this one is from Egyptian cotton. And this one at the bottom, I hope it doesn't send your eyes a bit funny, but again, this one was made in China. And the textures of all of them are very different. And that adds interest. Look at the sheen on that one. That adds interest, I think, to any patchwork that you're going to make. This one may well be Marks and Spencer's, but it's made in Bangladesh. One thing I want to point out on this one is the nice coloured stripe on it. But look at the great collared cuffs. Great long cuffs, I should say. That's a great depth. I love those. And this one is just a blue and white striped cotton shirt. Except if we look closely, it's Egyptian cotton. And it's got this wonderful sheen on it. Can I capture that with the flash camera? Can I capture it anywhere? Can you see a sheen? Just about. And the quality of it is really good. So it's very, very strong. That's why I picked that one and put other thinner non-Egyptian cotton shirts back on the shelf. Just as I was packing this one away, I realised that not only would this one, because of its strength and almost protective covering, would make a good bag, it would also make quite a robust children's toy. So let me see what comes to mind with that. So those shirts have already travelled a long way, haven't they? Before taking them apart, don't just look at the colour, the texture and the thickness of the shirts. Look at where they've come from and think about what their history might have been. I'm not talking about who might have worn them Although I am quite interested to know who might have worn that one from Zara Man. I think it's a brave man who can get away with wearing a shirt like that. It's very much like a girl's blouse. The others are far more traditional. But just look to see, where have they come from? Because it's all part of the history that's going into your piece of patchwork. And then I'm quite happy to recycle and reuse every inch, well, most of the inches of these shirts. And they won't be travelling too far from home. There's already been a lot of resources to get that Egyptian cotton from Egypt to China and then back to the shops in the UK. So I hope I've just given you a little bit of a different perspective on buying from charity shops. I think they're starting to twig that I'm buying up their cotton shirts because they're putting the prices up each week. But the quality of the shirts that they're getting is fabulous. Okay, for now, this is Maggie, the Cheshire Crafter, saying bye for now. I've got a few shirts to take apart, so I'm going to be a little bit busy. Come back and see me soon, won't you? Bye.